An arithmetic series is shown. 3 plus 8 plus continues on, then 33 and 38. Which of the following summation accurately describes the series? And we have three options here. And notice that our answer choices, you might have more than one option that's correct. So there's multiple ways we're going about this. We could use a sigma notation and the formula here to determine what the sum is and then see which one adds up to the same. But what I'm going to do, I think the easiest way, is I'm just going to try to find the terms that correspond. So this is a sub 1, this is a sub 2, we know this is a sub n. We don't know how many terms there are, but that's the last term, and this would be the term previous to it. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just plug in the values, understanding that what the process is for summation. What happens is it'll plug in a k value of 3 and get a number for the first term. So if I wanted to find a sub 1, the way I would do it is I would plug in for this first summation here, I plug in a 3 because that's the first k term. If I plug in a 3 there, we'll treat this one in green so we can keep up. Okay, so I would say 5 times 3 minus 12. 5 times 3 is 15, minus 12. I get the value 3. 15 minus 12 is 3. Does that correspond to what it's supposed to be? Yes, it does. So far, we're good on this one. First one matches up. So now let's try this next one. We'll do this one in red. Number 2 will be in red. I'll take it over here. So this time, to find a sub 1, I need to plug in 0. So it'd be 5 times 0 plus 3. 5 times 0 is 0 plus 3 is 3. Is that what it's supposed to be? Yes, it is. That one matches up. So we're good so far. Now let's go on to the next one. We'll do this one in blue. Now I'll try this right here. I'll say that a sub 1, I'll just draw a line right here. A sub 1 would equal, and I'm going to plug in the first value, 5 times 0 minus 2. Well, 5 times 0 is 0, minus 2 equals negative 2. Is that what a sub 1 was supposed to equal? No, it's supposed to equal 3 like these two. This one is out. So this series is not true. Since a sub 1 equals negative 2 here. Okay? And negative 2 is not 3. So that one's out. So now it's between blue and green. Red and green. So we'll move on. And now let's try to find a sub 2. To find a sub 2, I plug in the second k value. So k is no longer 3. Now it's 4. I've changed it to a 4 that I'm plugging in. So it'd be 5 times 4 minus 12. 5 times 4 is 20. Minus 12 equals 8. Does that line up? Yes, it does. And we can see that it's growing at the correct rate. So now we know that it's growing 5 units at a time. That looks great. So far, so good over here. Now let's try the red one. Find a sub 2. I'm no longer plugging in 0. I'm going to plug in 1. And so I would plug in 5 times 1 and then add 3. 5 times 1 is 5. Add 3, 8. That also looks good. Let me scoot this over so we can see. Both of these look good. That's great. So now I'm going to jump all the way, and I'm going to jump just to a sub n, because that'll be telling, because we know now that they're growing by 5. That's what this meant. It's growing by 5 every time. That's like the slope, if you will. All right, so let's try the last term, a sub n. We don't know what n is, but I do know that for a sub n, k equals 10, because that's the last number there. So I'm going to plug in a 10. So I'm jumping all the way to 10, and I'll say that 5 times 10 minus 12. Let's see what that equals. 5 times 10 is 50, minus 12 is 38. Is that what it's supposed to equal? It is. So since I have 38, and it's supposed to be 38, this one works. And it looks like this is going to be a great answer choice. Why do I say that? Because we realize they're growing by 5 like it's supposed to be. The first term starts in the right place, the last term ends in the right place. So really, we only needed to test 3 different options. Now let's go over here and see if the second option works as well. We tried a sub 1 and a sub 2. We found out it's growing by 5 units at a time like it's supposed to. Now let's jump and find a sub n. Now for a sub n here, I'll have a sub n when k equals 7. And so I'm going to plug in the 7 here. So it'll be 5 times 7 plus 3. 5 times 7 is 35. Add 3. I get 38. And you can see that the first term's correct, second term's correct, last term's correct. That's also a good sequence. So 1 and 2 are correct. that would be the answer here, is H. And that's how you can do this problem. Like I said, there's another way of doing it. You could have just found the formula from the formula chart. And since it's arithmetic, use this formula with sigma notation, figure out what the sum is of this series, and look for a series that have the same sum, and then just identify to make sure the first term matches up. And that would have worked, but either way, I think this is probably the easiest way, is just to plug in 3 terms from each and go from there.